Mokichi Okada, the founder of Jorei Practice, had a remarkable criticism on modernized medical science and the medical practice. He listed 5 shortcomings in the field of Western modern practice. First, modern Western medicine does not recognize or acknowledge the presence of spirit or the spiritual dimension in humans. And second, modern Western medicine does not acknowledge the ability to heal oneself, that is, to allow the state of homeostasis to occur. It also does not recognize that a human being consists of a soul and mind and body. Western medicine, in fact, regards the symptoms as simply allopathic. It also does not look for the cause of illness or the pathology. And 5 is that Western medicine has too much dependence on chemical treatment or chemical medicine. Mokichi Okada's defining and critique of Western medicine seems to have much in common with what you are sharing today.
I think that's completely consistent with the philosophy of integrative medicine. It's the same, exactly the same. And in regard to that last point, I often ask when I teach physicians or medical students, or to general audience as well, I often ask the question, how did we get into the mindset that the only legitimate way to treat illness is by giving drugs? And that's a very interesting question to ask. Where did that come from? The word, medicine has become synonymous with drugs. We talk about giving medicine, taking medicine. That's not what the word originally meant. The word medicine comes from an ancient Indo-Iranian root that means something like thoughtful action to establish order. And it also gives us meditate and measure. How did thoughtful action come to equate with giving and taking drugs? I mean, obviously by giving and taking a lot of drugs over history.
I quite agree, and I think he's ahead of his time, wasn't he? Really, Mokichi Okada.
Absolutely.
And just as you described medicine, if you look at the Greek for doctor, the original meaning was teacher. It wasn't giver of pills. It was someone who teaches and explains. And I think I love the bit about patients. Being able to heal themselves. We are self-organizing beings, but on so many levels. We know on one level a placebo will work because we think a tablet's going to work, but on another level we can change our lives by changing our diet, changing our mindset with mind-body techniques or whatever. And that really should be what we're doing in our surgeries and or our rooms when we're seeing patients. We shouldn't simply be saying it's either a drug or a referral to a specialist. We should be actually beginning to treat people again, and more than treating them, we should be helping them to be able to treat themselves. I think you're right, it does require a little bit more time than the average consultation. I mean, I only have 10 minutes of time, but I do have the advantage of seeing patients for an average of 11 or 12 years before they move elsewhere. I think if we could encapsulate what Mokichi Okada says and put it in the brains of every doctor, nurse and therapist in the country, considerably improve the care patients get and reduce the amount that we spend on health.
Well, I think what you're interested in doing is spreading Mokichi Okada's philosophy, which is a very powerful philosophy. Actually, I had not read his criticisms of Western medicine before. I think I'm amazed at how they're very spot on. So I think to acquaint other people with his teachings is very important, very worth doing, and that doesn't have to be in a religious context.
No.